Good morning. I love it when he does that. Hope y'all are doing well this morning. Yeah. I don't want this one to be long, guys. I'm just going to kind of go over what they call the Kundalini. It's kind of a controversial topic. Still one that's shrouded in mystery. I've heard some descriptions of what people describe, what theirs went through, and I'll be honest, it's hard to find a straightforward answer on how to make it happen. And so I'll only go into my experience, and I've had it happen a couple of times. I'm really going to want to go into what happened recently. Because the time that it happened before, the first time, was when I was a kid, when I was a child. They utilized Kundalini during the rituals. And so it's kind of a sensitive matter for me. And I also have a young child nearby, so I don't really want to go into that right now. It's raining and cold, so I'm inside. But this book goes into it a little bit. Psychic Self-Defense, Stealing Fortune. And so I'm just going to I'm going to put the page right there, and I'm going to just sit here for a little bit. You can read it if you're a good reader. Kind of heavy. She goes into how there's two ways. One way sounds like you force it to happen. I've been through that. I'm sure other people have too. And then another way, which is the one that I'm want to go into and talk to a little bit more detail, is gradually. You study, meditation, the white magic, the white mage's way, I would say, to awake and invoke Serpent Fire. When my memory started coming back around 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, somewhere around there, I started studying these books. Books like this one. These were one of the first ones I found. I remember my parents having it on the shelf. I remember when they tried putting me on the path at a young age, they wanted me to look into it and read it. It's crazy. Why wouldn't they just read it to me? I was only like 4 years old. Anyway, I tried my best. But I came back to it, right, eventually. Read the whole thing and much more. And I noticed as I started to read these books, I felt things. Sometimes you'd feel a warm sensation, like a vibration on the top of your head, your crown chakra. I also started to feel sensations in my back. All of a sudden, something would feel a little warm and tingly, and almost like something would move or pop. Headaches. And then your other psychic phenomenon that you happen in dreams, right? Vivid dreams. Memories coming back. Experimenting with remote viewing. Tapping into memories that way. But the big one, the big experience, the one that I would definitely say stood out Only happened a few months ago, around September. Around September, I started experiencing definitely what I would call Serpent Fire. Very vivid dreams. More vivid than any of the other ones before. Extreme headaches. Like my head would explode. Mood swings. One moment feeling euphoric. The next feeling depressed. Manic in a way. But one thing that really was definable, and then I knew what was happening. I was like, oh, it's happening. There were times when it felt like, very much so, like a warm, hot snake was coiling up my spine. It didn't happen all at once. This experience lasted probably 3.5 weeks. And from what I've read and understand, you don't want it to happen all at once. And I could see that because it was actually very painful. It wasn't a very pleasant experience. The pleasantries came with the relief when it was over. I will say it was one of those things where when it was done, it was kind of like, okay, I'm glad it's done, and I'm glad I went through it, but good God. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and one part of my back, the lower part of my back, would feel like something warm was entwining around it, slowly crawling up, and then it would stay there, and I would feel sensations around that general area. And then another night would come by, and another part of my back further up. Sometimes it wasn't exactly like one night, 2 nights. I mean, it was it wasn't rhythmic. It was hard to put a pattern to it. But one day it reached all the way up to my neck, to the back of my neck, my head. I thought my head was going to explode. Worst headache I had ever experienced in my life. I've never had a headache that bad. I used to get migraines. The migraines weren't that bad. That hurt. But afterwards, it came with a sense of relief. And some more of my gifts were given back to me. I read a lot during those times. I prayed a lot during those times. I prayed a lot. There was times I almost thought I might have been dying. And from what I've read, people have died during Kundalini awakening experiences, and they weren't ready. They forced it. So it's something to be taken seriously, not lightly. And from what I've read, it could take years when you gradually do it. So I think I did it the right way. I'd say it took me probably about 2.5 years. And there still might be more. The path never stops completely. As you read these books, you'll notice that these experiences almost, I would find myself, I would read, and then memories would come back. And I'd have a moment where I was like, oh man, that happened to me before. Weird epiphanies, revelations. So I just wanted to go into that. That was my very specific experience. I've heard some people, describe it, and say they're going through something similar maybe call it like ascending symptoms and things like that, and you know, maybe. But Kundalini? It's one that you know. Yeah, I used to get migraines. I'd get the kind that make you go blind. It would be scary. First time it happened to me, I was driving. Migraine, and all of a sudden I lost my peripheral vision. Was at a Mexican restaurant, at a buffet. Oh man, I love buffets. I went up to go get some kind of shrimp or something to put on my plate, and I bumped into somebody because I couldn't see them. I didn't think they were there. I was embarrassed. I haven't had a migraine like that in a long time. I think a good bit of that maybe was due to diet. I don't know what those are called, migraines that make you go blind. Just peripherally. Maybe if somebody knows, they can put that in the comment. Those started happening when I was like 23, 24. The last time I had one was probably 4 years ago. You get a headache, go blind a little bit, and when you get your vision back, man, it almost kind of felt like a stroke because you'd be really confused afterwards. I'd forget words. Yeah, it was scary. Like I said, I hadn't had one in a while, long time. About 4 years. I think it was a lot of like sugar and carbs or something. I wasn't eating as healthy back then. But anyway, got a little off topic there. Yeah, Kundalini, look it up. Definitely part of an occult path. There's energy that you tap into for magic, for your mind. You know, remember the white magician. Our magic comes from the mind, prayer, source, tapping into God. Dark occultists use Kundalini, I think, as a way to channel energy to steal it. They harness it. They steal it from others. And I mean, you can read that. You can read more. You know why they would want children and women for those specific practices. Anyway, you have a good morning. Bye-bye.